everyone, Uncle Jesse here. This is my Bambu Lab X1 Carbon, and this is my Bambu Lab X1 Carbon, and across these two machines, I have almost 1,500 hours of print time over the past 6 months of utilizing these printers, and that's not even included the Bambu Lab P1P that you just recently saw me assembling this companion cube case mod. Yeah, this thing, we're not here to talk about this so much. I'll be doing a separate follow-up review of this printer in the next few weeks. I ended up having a beta unit that was originally sent to me before the Kickstarter originally launched. I had an absolute horrible time with that machine. I just had issue after issue after issue and made basically an hour-long video detailing all the issues that I had. Ended up boxing it up, shipping it back to Bambu Lab. FedEx lost it. It ended up getting damaged in transit. Regardless of all that craziness that went on there, I ended up deciding to back not only one, but two of these machines via the Kickstarter campaign, and ended up receiving this first one here, I think in August was the first machine that I received, which is where my original video kicked into place. And then I ended up receiving this machine in September or October, where I had the multi-material AMS unit here that I could allow me to print in multi-colors and multi-materials at once. And I ended up pre-ordering and buying the P1P that I'll be doing again a follow-up review video here in the next few weeks. Now we all know that the print quality and the speed on these machines is pretty incredible. Plus, it also has some really nicely dialed in profiles within Bambu slicers. So I'm not gonna really be focusing too much on all of those aspects that you've probably already heard over and over again. What I really do wanna focus in on is just my overall experience of using these machines and how things have improved and how I would still like to see some things further improved with continuing to use these 3D printers on a daily basis. And before I get into really anything here, I don't know if you'll be able to hear it because I'm about to shut down these machines. There is a constant hum coming from these 3D printers, regardless if it's printing or not, or if it's been sitting here for an hour or 2 hours. There's just a nonstop hum coming from a fan somewhere inside the printer. I would honestly love if that could just be, if it's not printing, don't have the fan on or whatever that hum is that's coming from the machine. Let me just state, Bambu Lab has done a fantastic job of providing updates to the firmware, to the hardware, to the software of the 3D printers, even the mobile app here, based on feedback from the community and updates that have been provided to the GitHub pages of issues and feature requests that they've built up. I've submitted things, had some things worked on, and actually rolled into there. I found minor issues where things like the unload filament command here, you'd actually hit the button to unload it. It would prompt that, hey, the job is completed, and it really wasn't, because you'd have to wait another 30 seconds for actually roll out the filament so that you could actually remove it. So it's small little things that they've tweaked like that have been rolled out. But one of the biggest issues that I had, or was issue, feature request, call it whatever you want, it's got a wireless capability. I wanted to be able to send files from my computer directly to the printer. And not only can you send a print job, you can send multiple print jobs to the storage location on the machine so that you can actually run those jobs at a later time whenever you'd like, or even access those files directly from your phone through the Bambu Handy app history, print history jobs. You can reprint and rerun some of those files, or now you can even access your time lapses directly from the mobile app and download those from your 3D printer. That is some fantastic updates that they've provided to this machine, and I honestly wish a lot of the other 3D printer manufacturers were as active as Bambu Lab has been. The only other manufacturer that I'm aware of that's providing this level of accessibility and updates is someone like Prusa. All of the others, it's like, here's the printer, have fun until we make our next 3D printer. Also, I love the fact that you can get access to the beta versions of the slicer and provide feedback to that back again to the developers. One of the issues that I have with the newest beta update and the new slim tree supports, which are like amazing, absolutely amazing, is that there's a huge brim that will overlap the outside build plate. And the developer wrote back and said, hey, we're just gonna try and cut that off. Would that work? And yeah, that would. That would allow me to print right up to the edge of the build plate there and not have to worry about it running over and the print job not being able to actually print. So some of the issues that I still want to call out is one of them is the one that drives me the most crazy, is specifically for non-AMS X1 Carbon or even P1P users. There is no load filament option on this machine. Yes, and some user recently called out to me that, hey, you can actually stick the filament into the tube and there's a little indicator on the screen that'll highlight as green when it indicates that the filament is there. However, I've still run into the issue where it's printing mid-air, where it thinks it's gripping onto the filament and it's not actually gripped onto anything, which really stinks. Or you can actually load it all the way in, press on the feed button like once or twice, and it will feed it in basically until it's grinding up against the cold extruder. It's just kind of like a wonky way to load your filament. But the bigger issue isn't necessarily even the loading. It's when I want to pause a print mid-print and I want to change the filament. There is no unload function directly on the printer. It just blows my mind. Like, why can't you just unlock the unload function that's already on there so that I can pause the print, unload it where it automatically cuts the filament for me and then feeds the filament out so that I can swap it out before the filament runs out. I don't want to have to wait until the filament runs out and then perform the reload function. I want to preemptively get that roll off there so that I can go to bed and then have a full spool of filament running throughout the night. And one that I just recently found out about that I'm almost positive other people are not aware of this is that it states that the build volume is 256 by 256 by 256, but it's like a asterisk in there. It's not. If you want to print with the full build volume, you have to change a whole bunch of settings, which means that you can't use your AMS with that because it needs some of the clearance space over there. You have to print a separate object so that you can put it in there so that the filament cutter isn't going to work. You have to go into the slicer, change a few settings there so that you can access the full height of 256 plus the whole build plate there. So it's going to ignore the little spot there that tries to do some of the sensing, or I'm not entirely sure what it is. Now, obviously I've had my fair share of print failures and issues that I've just run into with clogging and whatnot of different items there on the 3D printers and having to troubleshoot those. I will say Bambu Lab has done an amazing job over the last maybe like month and a half, 2 months of progressively building out supplemental videos that show how to resolve particular issues or how to do certain things on the 3D printers, changing parts, unclogging nozzles, cleaning and doing some maintenance on the machine. Holy cow. My inside of the printer, I need to do a deep clean of this 3D printer. Anytime I put my hand inside the machine, big chunks of like black dust is all over my hands. It's coming from the carbon fiber rods, or so I'm assuming, and I need to do a better job of maintaining and cleaning these. So if you're planning on picking up one of these, you'll definitely want to look into the maintenance options of how to properly take care of these, and it's probably going to improve your overall print quality as well. So that's going to be on my priority list of things to do this weekend, is actually deep cleaning the 3D printers. That's, I don't think, really anything that I've ever done before. One other thing that I am not a big fan of is the cool plate system that comes with the X1 Carbon. The P1P comes with a textured PEI sheet that works amazing. And in fact, I have ordered 2 separate ones for both of these machines. So here's the one that I just recently ordered that I haven't used at all, but it's a great surface to print on. It's going to provide you with like a little textured bottom finish there. But if you like the smooth finish for your 3D prints, a Wham Bam PEX plate has been working fantastic for me. I set the temperature to like 45 and it works fantastic. But the reason why I don't like these, they adhere way too well, especially with PLA prints. I've tried glue sticks, I've tried Aquanet hairspray, and I've ended up replacing the sticker on these so many times, and it reminds me of my MakerBot Mini and having to continuously order replacement sheets for the build plate. And yeah, I don't want to experience that life over again. So I would highly recommend, if you haven't already and have one of these, upgrading to one of the PEX or one of the texture PEI sheets, or something like a Wham Bam flex plate there. Now, one thing that I have enjoyed and really not enjoyed at the same time is the AMS system. It's really fun when everything works properly, like this Magneto helmet or the smaller Magneto helmets, or this articulating Boo print here that just is really friggin' cool, but it can also be a massive pain in the rear end. Like filament rolls that come on cardboard spools, you need to print little plastic wheel adapters so that they roll freely in there. If the spool holder is too wide, it's not gonna fit in there. You can't run things like TPU in there, so you're gonna have to run it on the back of the printer. I've also had just a nightmare of a time getting that Magneto helmet to print. I think that took 4 attempts for it to fully print properly. The first time it was looking absolutely amazing, and then ended up getting a really weird line straight down the entire thing in one filament color that I don't quite understand how that happened. And then like an hour later, it completely jammed up, but just kept printing and nothing stopped. So that was very, very frustrating. Yeah, here's the, I thought I had the helmet in here. Yeah, here's the failed Magneto helmet that's got a seam, a purple seam right down the side of it, and then the top failed to print there. The exact same file I ended up reusing, and it printed just fine. It only took 4 attempts for that to actually happen and work properly. So yeah, you can potentially waste a ton of filament outside of just the purging of the filament that can occur on the back of the machine. But I mean, the results are just stunning. Even with these smaller Magneto helmets, the results just look absolutely beautiful off of this 3D printer. Again, when things work properly. Also, I've had people doubt that I can print a full-size one-piece helmet off of one of these machines. You most certainly can, and I have a 23.5-inch head that I'm able to print helmets off of. They have to be pretty snug and tightly fitting, but you can definitely print them on the X1 Carbon. Also, another thing that I just recently did was I ended up getting a clogged extruder on my standard X1 Carbon, not the one with the AMS system in there. And instead of cleaning out the clog like a sane person would, I ended up swapping out the entire hot end assembly there, or extruder, with a 0.6 millimeter version of it that came with the machine. And I have to say, it works pretty dang nice there. This is another version of this Magneto helmet. It's just a lot beefier and chunkier, and of course, fits properly on here and printed in a fraction of the time that this one took. However, I would like to request, I think a lot of people have asked this as well, that if Bambu Lab can build out further on the slicer side of things, more profile options for better resolution with the 0.6 nozzle and a 0.8 nozzle. Also, while recording this, I think I've just realized one of my printers, there's a hum coming from this machine. There is a distinctively much louder hum coming from this other unit here. So I'm assuming that maybe one of the fans is dying in the machine. Also, if you have one of these machines or considering getting one, you definitely want to pick up a whole bunch of different spare parts. Right now, pretty much you can only order these through Bambu Lab in their shop, and there's about a 5 to 8 business day time for you to actually receive those. So you might want to plan accordingly. I ended up going through these little roller things that go on the inside that the filament rolls up against. Or the nozzle, I should say. This, I run through so many of these. I don't know why they're so fragile, but they snap off, and I end up replacing so many of these dang things. And one last thing that I wanted to mention is that with the ever-growing popularity of these 3D printers comes the abundance of just a-holes that are flooding some of the Facebook and Discord groups. Thankfully, the Bambu Lab team seems to have stepped in and are updating with some more moderators and people there to help better supervise what's going on, potentially banning, I'm hoping, some of these users that are just overtly negative to people posting things or talking about certain things on the group. And yes, I know this can come from all sides and all different communities that back different 3D printers or different brands. Honestly, I don't really care. I just like machines that print well and print things that I think are cool so that I can share them here online with folks like yourself. And especially if you sell 3D printed things online, I can't recommend these 3D printers enough. They have more than paid for themselves with the amount of sales that I've had over the past handful of months with printing things off of these 3D printers. It's just been an amazing experience being able to print things at a high quality, at a quick speed on these 3D printers. And I also want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters for your continued support of me making goofy content here on the interwebs. If you're interested in 3D printing your own Magneto helmet that was designed by the folks over at Wicked 3D, that I'll have links to their Patreon as well, that have given me explicit access to sharing with my amazing Patreon followers. If you're interested in downloading and printing one of these helmets for yourself, you can find links to that over in my Patreon. And how badass is this thing? I mean, it's just absolutely amazing, printed in this two-tone silk PLA. And overall, I've had a really positive experience over the past 6 months plus of 3D printing pretty much daily with these two 3D printers, and would honestly recommend these if you're considering picking up one for yourself. The P1P, on the other hand, we'll definitely be talking about here in the next few weeks. I'm really looking forward to this hopefully upcoming prosumer level 3D printer experience that we'll hopefully be seeing more of in 2023. I'll see you next time.